All right, so inventory is continuing to pile up right now in the Fraser Valley. We were at 71 homes on the market at the end of February, and currently, right now, if I take a look at multi-class, we have 8,350 listings. So that's a lot of inventory. That's an increase of about 1,200 homes on the market, and we're not even at the end of March. And I mean, if you take a look at last year, we peaked out at 8,100. So according to this, we've already surpassed the highs of last year's inventory in September. And inventory typically pretty much every year will surge until, summer or fall of that year. So we're only in March. We still have April, May, June, July, August potentially for inventory to continue to go higher. And we've already surpassed the highs of last year. Now, when we look at detached, we got about 3,500 homes on the market. And currently, or last month, and currently we're at 3,700. So that's an increase of about 200 detached homes on the market. And then when we look at townhomes, we had 1,300 last month, and currently right now we have 1,500. So again, about an increase of 180 townhomes or something like that. And then condos, we ended the month with 2,204, and currently right now we're sitting at 2,395. So again, about a 200 unit increase in inventory for condos in the Fraser Valley. Now, anecdotally, just some things I'm hearing out there, dropout rates for presale condos are the highest that they've probably ever been. That's what I'm hearing from developers out there, or people who know developers, or just people out there in general, which is basically, when you buy a presale condo, there's a 7-day rescission period. So once you get that under contract, you can back out for, whatever reason. You don't even have to be like, oh, I can't get financing. You can just say, I don't want it. And then you can back out. So that is happening at a rate higher than, ever seen before from what I understand. And a conversation that's now coming up is unemployment. Like, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about worried that they're going to lose their job. I'm actually hearing of people losing their jobs. I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who works at a bank, and he told me, probably shouldn't say the name of the bank, but there is a big bank in Canada that is likely to announce a round of layoffs coming up very soon here in the next couple months. So he's very worried that he's going to lose his job, right? And these are conversations that I've never had in my entire adult life. Like, back when I was a plumber, I would literally interview them. Right? Like, it wasn't the other way around. Like, whenever I went to an interview at a plumbing company, I would be interviewing them, seeing like, hey, is the company good enough for me to work at? Because if not, I can go work at any of these companies that I want, right? So this is something that I haven't experienced. I haven't had these conversations ever before in my life. And it's, super interesting to see. I know another realtor who, their team typically sells about 25 units by this time of year, and they're at 5 sales right now. And even myself, like, this is pacing to be a terrible year. Now, what I want to get into today is the home ownership rate. So, it peaked out here in Canada at 69.5%. It's been dropping ever since at 66.1%. And, a big topic of conversation is like, we need to get this number up. This number needs to increase for Canadians to be happy, is like what I'm hearing, or financially fit, or whatever the case may be. Now, I just want to show you guys, this is the list of home ownership here. Where's Canada on this list? 66.16. Okay, this is a little bit outdated, but Canada's here, right? And below us, we have Australia, the US, which is interesting because their home prices are cheaper and their incomes are higher, yet less people there own homes. United Kingdom, Sweden, Israel, New Zealand, France, Denmark, South Korea, Japan, Austria, Hong Kong, Germany, Switzerland. Only 42.3% of people own a home, and I think their home prices are about 30% higher. Now, are they unhappy in Switzerland? Well, they're the 9th happiest country in the world, right? So I found that interesting. Like, what I'm curious to know is, would people care so much to own a home if the price of them didn't go up as fast as they have gone up? Like, imagine if we just had like a 2% year over year price appreciation, or 1% year over year price appreciation. Like, most of these cities in the States, like pretty much all of the Midwest kind of appreciates around that amount. Would people care so much about owning a home? I don't think they would. I think most people, like a lot of people, would actually just prefer to rent and not care about owning a home because renting is cheaper. And the only thing that makes it not cheaper is the fact that the price of the home goes up. And I found that to be interesting. But also, my second point to this is that I actually think the home ownership rate is going to continue to go down because that's what we've seen in a lot of these other countries. Like it's, the home ownership rate in a lot of these countries in Europe is a lot lower than here. And I think that's just because they've had more time. These countries are a lot older. They've had more time to become more expensive than us, right? Like Canada's a pretty young country. We're only like 160 years old or something like that. And, there's a lot of places in Europe where like it's just assumed that you don't own where you live. It's assumed that you rent, and there's no negative connotation around that. Like it's completely fine to be a renter. Now, I personally believe that the home ownership rate in Canada is going to continue to decline because that's what all these other countries did. And I think that, every year it gets harder to afford your current lifestyle, right? The cost of everything goes up, including housing, including everything else. And I don't know how, everything is super negative right now. I share that with you guys, right? Very openly that like, hey, this is what's happening. It sucks right now. The market sucks. The economy sucks. But I still believe somehow, some way, and I don't know how it's going to present itself. Housing is the home ownership rate is going to fall. And whether that is, the price of everything else in your life going up, eating away at your income so you can afford less home, or the actual price of a home going up, I think the home ownership rate is going to continue to drop, and it's going to be harder and harder to buy a home as time goes on because that is what that's what's happened in Canada. That's what's always happened. That's what is probably going to continue to happen. But again, I might be completely wrong on that. That's just the way that I see it. And if you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to the channel. If you want to chat with me about buying or selling real estate in the Fraser Valley, you can book a time to chat with me using the link below. Otherwise, I'm that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.